Our film follows Dempsey Duffy, a lonely teenage boy living in London suffering from loneliness and social anxiety. Dempsey is interested in a girl quite different from him. Dempsey has a choice. Does he change himself for her, or does he become happy with himself? Will he make the right decision? What follows will be the greatest lesson he's ever learned.
Our film genre will fall under dark comedy / psychological drama, with many of our themes revolving around spirituality, self-discovery, as well as being a coming-of-age movie.
These are some of our inspirations for our short film. Donnie Darko and Fight Club are our main inspirations and inspire us all the way from our story to our visuals, while Scooby-Doo inspires us comedically. Each film is important to us in its own way and helps us create what we want to create in its best possible form.
We structured our story using Story Mountain. This helped us a lot whilst trying to come up with a script, as it created a solid story structure. For example, establishing a beginning, middle and end has given us loads of solid plot points to work around and aim for, allowing us to use them as foundation points during script writing. Because at the beginning stages it was quite difficult for us to find and agree on ideas, pointing out the plot points has made this process a lot easier.
On my mood board you can see images from Donnie Darko, Fight Club, Saw and Kaiji, which inspire us visually. There's a particular theme of masks in my mood board, and that's because the demons in the film will be portrayed by masks, so it's quite an important part for us.
For my mood board, I gathered all sorts of images and pictures from movies and videos that inspired me. I chose images that I thought would suit the atmosphere of what I wanted to create. For example, I chose a lot of dark and eerie ones because I want this short film to have a dark and mysterious atmosphere.
My mood board consists of shots from many shows and films that I am inspired by, and that I feel have an atmosphere and themes that are similar to my own.
As we were planning the production of our short film, we had to note down some suitable locations that would be accessible for us, as well as making sure that we'd be permitted to film there. For example, we chose some local parks to us as we thought it would be easiest and most accessible for everyone, as well as being a public place, so permission to film would not be needed. We also decided that filming along the Thames would suit the dark atmosphere we were trying to create, as it has some Victorian architecture around. Also, it can get quite foggy around there sometimes, which would be perfect to film some of the scenes where we want to create a mysterious atmosphere.
Our film has very few characters other than the titular character of Dempsey himself. Besides Dempsey, there are Dempsey's demons, which will serve more as visual metaphors for Dempsey's mental state throughout the film. There will also be a love interest character for Dempsey, who despite having no dialogue throughout the film, will be very important for moving the film's conflict along. The other most important characters are the bullies, who have the most dialogue throughout the whole film, and all their actions serve an important role in progressing the story along. Dempsey Duffy's character profile. Dempsey Duffy is the main character of our short film, a lonely teenager boy living in London suffering from loneliness and social anxiety. Throughout the film, he'll learn to have confidence in himself and learns to accept himself for who he really is.
Our target audience is teens between 12 to 19, as we think he'll be fun enough for both young teens and old teens alike. Our film will appeal to teens who enjoy music, comedy and horror. Our film will have an important message about mental health and loneliness, which is important for teens in this age range. We think this fits between our age range because these teens are generally more edgy and have more mental health issues and face loneliness.
For the props, we'll use opera and tiki masks that I'd line around the house. Also, we'll need to source some dark robes or clothes that our demons could wear. Lastly, for props, the instruments will be ours, so the only thing that we need to source will be the dark robes. Equipment that we will need is 2 cameras, 2 tripods, 2 lights with tripods, and lastly an audio interface. These need to be sourced by the college or other third-party vendors. The audio interface will be essential to our film, because we plan to record a lot of our own sound effects and music with our own instruments.
In Act 1 of our film, we are establishing that Dempsey is quite a lonely, unsociable character, struggling with his self-image and happiness. We use guitar sounds as sound effects to add emphasis to our film, like when Dempsey finally sits up after struggling to wake up in the morning. Dempsey makes his way to school. When he's on his way to his class, we include a scene of Dempsey taking notice of a talent show poster as a form of foreshadowing. One of our ways to emphasize loneliness is to have Dempsey sit alone in a chair in the middle of the frame as the background changes to indicate the passing of time throughout the day. Dempsey spots a girl in his class that he finds very attractive, and we use a heartbeat sound that slows down when he sees the girl to show that Dempsey is tense. While Dempsey is looking at the girl, the school bell rings and instantly cuts to Dempsey exiting the school building. A guitar riff plays again when the bullies notice him. The bullies start to harass Dempsey for staring at the girl. They throw a can at him and start following him home, and eventually split ways because Dempsey takes an alternative but longer route to get away from them. Dempsey is still feeling anxious and suspects he's being followed, but no one is there. It gets late on his way home and he starts to hear weird sounds and feel uneasy. The music and sounds add tension to the atmosphere. As Dempsey walks past a doorway in a dark alleyway, a figure appears as he walks by, building tension and creating a mysterious vibe. Guitar and drum sounds will be added as effects to highlight the scene. Act 1 ends when Dempsey finally makes it home.
Moving on to Act 2, we follow Dempsey into his home. And in this act we get to see his inner conflict as we follow him having an identity crisis. The scene starts with an over-the-shoulder shot of him staring in the mirror, followed by his attempt to smile. He thinks of the girl he saw in school and starts to change himself physically in order to stand out to her. His thoughts and conflict are represented by subliminal messages that will detail what he is feeling. This happens 4 times within the act with different emotions, and on each one he gets another item to physically change himself. Every time a change occurs, an eerie guitar sound will be played and a masked demon figure will appear behind him. These figures represent the emotions he carries around with him. The music will get more tense from shot to shot, eventually climaxing when he gets to the end of his transformation. After Dempsey has completed the transformation, the shot fades to black and we see him the next day walking to school with the demons behind him. The music will slowly build tension as they walk into school.
Act 3 will begin with Dempsey in his classroom, surrounded by his demons. Now he has completed this new look, he is looking for the girl that he likes, but is unable to find her, until after class where he sees her with another boy. This upsets Dempsey. The next shot will see all the bullies in a circle with one of them rapping. One of them will notice Dempsey and they will begin to harass and follow him. While following him, they will eventually corner him in an alleyway, where the leader of the group will approach Dempsey, insult him, and slap him. Dempsey returns home angry and sad about everything that has happened in the day. Act 3 continues with Dempsey staring into the mirror, which will be a mirrored version of the scene earlier, where instead of adding and changing his appearance so he can be like the girl he likes, he instead removes all these aspects of him so he can be who he truly is. Dempsey's demons reappear again and begin to close onto him in a way that scares Dempsey, but when they get close, they all put their hand on him and say, "We are proud of you." This reveals that the demons were never a negative aspect of Dempsey's life, but were always there looking out for him the whole time. The next shot is of Dempsey entering his school talent show, where he begins to set up his bass and gets ready to perform his song. As soon as Dempsey has set up all his equipment and begins to play his bass line, all the demons will appear around him with their own instruments, and the best song in the world will begin to play. Whilst the song is being performed, we'll get shots of the audience, everyone is cheering Dempsey on, and the girl he liked earlier gets heart eyes and thinks. Once the song is finished, Dempsey and his demons will all run off stage and jump into the air into a freeze frame to end the movie.